Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep, thank you for joining with us again.
We always love doing this. And Mom, how are you doing on this first episode Friday?
I am doing fine, Brandon, on this first episode Friday. How are you doing?
All is well here in this October.
Yep, it is. And for October, for our first episodes, we're kind of exploring some of the mysterious shows that are out there.
Yes, and Mom, which mysterious show is this?
This one is called Free Spirit.
Yes, and this one debuted September 22nd of 1989.
Yes, I had to go way back for this one.
Yes, well, Mom, are you able to let us know a little bit about the episode in the series?
I sure will. And actually, it's going to be all in one for this one because this is a pilot episode. And so, in this particular episode, we have a single father. His name is Thomas, and he has three children, two boys and a girl. And the two of the children are teenagers, and one is not. Anyway, so this father needs a housekeeper, and so one of his sons kind of makes a wish, and this lady named Winnie just kind of appears. And but Winnie actually is a witch, and the dad unknowingly hires Winnie, but he does not. He is not aware that she is a witch, and so adventures kind of occur in this particular show.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
And overall, what did you think of the series premiere?
It was cutesy. Best as I can explain. It really was cutesy. There was nothing wrong with the show. It flowed all the way through. It was your typical 1980 something comedy that came on. So that's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah, and so for a little bit of context, the show didn't last that long.
No, it did not.
Are you able to let the audience know how long did it last?
When we discussed it, it was 14 episodes that it lasted, but I think there was one that was unaired.
Yes, and so definitely not a lot, not even a full TV season, and it ended January 14th of 1990.
It did. It did. Now, overall, we talk about whether or not we've heard of the show before. Brandon, had you even heard of the show?
I'd heard the name of it just because we go through a lot of TV theme songs and giant playlists of them, but that's probably the only reasons to why I've heard of it, but I didn't know anything about it.
All right. I did watch it when it was out. However, I only saw it one time through if I saw all the episodes of that. And so I don't have a large memory of the show, with the exception of the concept.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes. And did you like the first episode?
Oh yeah, I definitely enjoyed this first episode. It's definitely a bit different than some other shows, but I definitely do see. I mean, see it fitting in the sense of just the other family comedies that come on during this time, and so I found a little interesting tidbit in that the series premiered actually on the very first night that Friday had its the ABC had its Friday night lineup for TGIF.
Yeah. Well, this looks like a TGIF show. So, yeah. So that makes a lot of sense that it was on during that time period.
But yes, but like I said, but truly the very beginning. TGIF began September 22nd of '89.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. It really is. And so I guess the overall question you probably have, and the viewers are watching, is, well, why did I pick it? Because as you said, you had not really, you. I know you've heard the theme song, but you didn't know anything about the show. Well, I just thought it was. I was thinking, this trying to decide on some shows for October because I did pick the shows for this month, and this just seemed to kind of fall right in because it was a show that you and I had not really seen together, and I was trying to pick something a little different, and we'll see what 80s person out there actually remembers it. If you do remember it, write in the comments that you do remember the show. But it just seemed to go with our theme for October.
Yeah, I definitely believe it does fit in, and yeah, having done various uh, Octobery shows, let's say, for a few years now, I do think it really fits into the sort of supernatural but family sort of subgenre.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Brandon, would you watch this show again? Meaning that would you watch the other 14 episodes if you saw them?
I don't know if I'd do necessarily all 14, but I definitely would check out another one. Doesn't necessarily have to be like episode two. Because I'm definitely intrigued to see sort of how it progresses, if any, because it seems that everyone knows about who their housekeeper really is, except for the dad.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like typical, like I said, of that time period. As for me, would I watch it again? Kind of like you, yes. If it happens to be on, yes, I'll watch it. Would I binge it? Possibly. If it happens to be on and there's nothing else on, yes, I will watch it. Am I seeking it out? Probably not. But if I happen to see it, then yes, I will continue watching. But I don't think I'd have to watch after watching the 14 episodes again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely does make sense. And we mentioned the theme song a few times. What are your thoughts about the theme song?
I thought it was really catchy, so I do like the theme song. I remember, I mean, even though, like I said, I watched it this the one time through, in 1989. The the theme song stood out and I remember it. Now it is not a theme song that if you're it's not iconic in a sense, not like the Brady Bunch iconic. So in no sense of the way is it like that. But it is a catchy theme song for someone who remembers the show.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It took me most of the time I can remember them right off the bat. I didn't remember this one right off the bat, but in uh, clicking on it online again, I was able to say, "Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that," and it is catchy for those who've seen it more than once.
Yeah. And there were a couple things I did learn about from the first episode, and which kind of went along with the rest of the few episodes that were out there. What I do like about the show is they had a true initiating event, and that's something I've said over and over again. Is that I like a show that has a real initiating event. And in this show, it is Winnie appearing and being hired and knowing that she's a witch. We do know the dad is a single dad and that he's a lawyer. Those are things you learn from the first episode. And we also learned that one of their sons, Gene, is the youngest, is actually having a little bit of a hard time being without his mother. I don't think we're told much about the mother in the first episode. I don't think. I read online that they were divorced, but I don't. I don't remember seeing it in the first episode. If I missed it, I could have very well have missed it. Did we have any connections, Brandon?
Yeah, so we actually do. But before I get into the connections specifically from this episode, I did have a connection from reading a little interesting tidbit about the pilot episode.
Okay, what is that?
So even though this episode we just reviewed is titled Pilot and is a pilot episode, this is actually the second recording of the pilot.
Oh, what happened to the first recording?
The first recording had a different dad.
Oh, who was the different dad?
The different dad was Christopher Rich.
Really? Wow. Okay. That is good to know. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and so from reading online, I don't know how reputable it is, but it said that when they I guess created the pilot, they liked it, but they wanted to emphasize that the middle kid and what was it and Winnie were the stars, and thus the dad could be replaced.
Okay. So I'm sorry. So you said the middle child, that's the daughter, right? So it's Allison
Let's
Hannigan or
let's see. So the middle child. So Gene.
Jean's the middle child? Jean's not the middle
I
child.
mean the second son.
The second son. Okay. So they wanted Ethan Gross to be, if I remember correctly, I think that's his name, to be the star along with along with Winnie.
Yes.
Huh. That's interesting. All
Yeah,
right.
and I think that yeah, and I believe that there was also a different Jesse in the first episode too.
Oh, really? Well, that's interesting. Okay. I guess I need to read a little bit deeper into
Who
glad
knew?
you I know, glad you're able to tell me that. I wouldn't have known that. And I was trying to think of Christopher Rich because I know that he was in another show in the 80s also. I cannot remember the name of it. Which I do. Um Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, I remember Christopher Rich being in another '80s show. I think it didn't last long, if I remember correctly.
But yeah, but Mom, are you ready to go into the main connections?
Yeah, what are the main connections?
Yeah, so the main connections, we have one of them with the composer Steve Dorff.
Okay, and what did he do?
Yes. So Steve Dorff is a songwriter, and if I remember correctly, he actually composed the theme song for Growing Pains.
Oh, wow, wow, that sounds great. I said, did you have any other connections?
Yeah, so the production company ELP Communications is the production company of Norman Lear, created shows such as uh, yes, and so ELP Communications, the production company of Norman Lear, uh, it produced a lot of great TV shows in the 1980s that didn't necessarily have anything to do with Norman Lear, but just was his company, such as With the Facts of Life, Different Strokes, and some other shows from that time.
Okay. All right, that sounds great. I did look up while you were talking. I looked up Christopher Rich because I couldn't remember what other show that he played on during that time period, and I'm remembering The Charmings. So that's what I was remembering from the '80s, and that was on from '87 to '88. We've not talked about that, and you've never heard of it. But in my mind, as soon as you said his name, that's what I thought about. And I know we know him from Reba, but that is what when I think about '80s, that's what I was thinking about with Christopher Rich.
Good to know.
Yeah. All right, Brandon. Is there anything else you want to talk about with this show?
No, I mean, I definitely thought it was a good viewing for this first episode. It changes up a little bit, and I'm excited to see what we do for the rest of the month of October.
Yep, same here, Brandon. So everybody stay tuned. If you have a guess of what you think we're going to talk about, let us know.
Yes, definitely, please do, and
All right, everybody. We hope you have a great day.
we'll see you next time.
All right, bye, everybody.